Hey, what is up everybody, Blades for here, and today I for you guys another video of Persona 5X. Inside today's video guys, we are going to be talking about pretty much the 4 stars and are they viable, and this kind of ties back into the thing of if the game is free to play or not. I'm going to be telling you exactly which 4 stars are viable and exactly how and where. So if you guys are interested in this video, be sure to sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. As a TLDR for any of you guys who really don't want to listen to all the yapping and stuff like that, all 4 stars are viable. If not, some of them are even better than some of the 5 stars, and they really prove it in a lot of the game modes. The only one that really isn't too useful is Sepia, and even then, if you actually work on him a lot more than you think, he actually works out in majority of the content. But let's go ahead and get into the actual video. So for all those who have stuck around, or people who are new who have stuck around, first of all, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out quite a lot, especially if you do like my content. But let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes. So taking a look at the 4 stars that are in the game, we have a stinking crap ton. So far we have our man Soy, we got Puppet, Yuki, we have characters such as like let me scroll back a little bit more, Cattle, we have Closer, Moko, Okyon, Key, Sepia, Mont, Florette, Leo, and even Bino. Now, in the future update that's going to be coming around, I think next week as well, we're going to get another character who is stellarly good, but I'll leave that video for a different time. And I gotta say, all these 4 stars are usable. There are some that of course are worse than others, but there are a lot that are crazy good. Now, before we start picking out the actual main ones who are really good, let's go ahead and go over the content that all of them can really clear. So if we go ahead and take a look at the metaverse and any of the things that are actually in the metaverse, when it comes down to palaces, all of these characters can easily clear palaces. Same goes for the Elise instance in Mementos itself. Cognitive world type stuff and things like this, all of them can very well clear, and you don't really have to rely a lot on having a lot of 5 stars. Majority of them can really clear without most 5 stars and can do it rather well. Same goes with at least the palaces that we do have out. Currently is Palace 1 and 2. You can actually clear a lot of the content with just 4 stars, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of content I ended up clearing with the 4 stars. For example, some of my team that I ended up having was, at the beginning of course, a lot of people summoned for Joker, and I didn't have him duped out like this at first. He was 0 dupes, so I had Joker like this, 0 dupes. Had my man Morgana, which of course is a 5 star. Those 2 are 5 stars, but at the time had 0 dupes, really characters that were attainable, because this one you can get from selection. And then the 2 4 stars I was using at the time was actually Soy and Yuki. Both of these characters I still use to this day, and along with the navigator that really comes out with this character, or at least with the characters I was using Okyon. Wasn't even using the proper team, to be honest, for this. Technically, now that I think about it, back then, seeing that majority of my team was kind of like a sustain, I should have been using Puppet. But with this in mind, that was technically 3 characters that I was using that were 4 stars. Now, on times that, of course, I was not using was not using Morgana and things of that nature, I was either using Soy, using Puppet, of course, every now and again when I found out she was good, Yuki, and then every now and again I would use Cattle. Now, the reasoning for me using Cattle is because with this character here, you were able to cheap out some things with just DOT fire hits, and he did have a burn, and that was before I had on. He was really helpful, especially for proccing some of those burns inside of different categories and things of that nature. So when it comes down to at least content wise, you're able to do a lot of the content, even the harder palaces, with just 4 stars. Now, this also can be said for some of the other content as well. For example, guild bosses and things of this nature, you actually do use some 4 stars for. I can definitely say for cert, you use like Yusuke, but then majority of the rest of your team is going to be, of course, Wonder. You might, if I'm right, you use like Yuki. You also use one other character. I gotta remember who it was. Maybe if I click it actually right now, I might have a team set up for it. But no, I don't have a team up for it. So, but you will usually use like Yuki, Yusuke, and you would have like what it was called, someone else on the team here. Oh yeah, Mont, in which this team itself was packed with 2 different 4 stars, and also with this team you would normally use a 4-star navigator, being Puppet. All of these characters are actually really good, and including without their weapons, they could really be used quite a lot. Now, when it does come down to the harder content, so some of the content such as like Heart Rail or some of the content like the Velvet Trials and things of this nature, you actually can still use these guys. So for example, there's not really a win DPS that are out right now. I don't know if I just clicked the win one. I probably didn't. Yeah, I clicked the curse one, but it also has win attributes. So I guess we can use this as an example for like some of the lower stages. So around like 1 to maybe 15, 1 to 20, or at least, yeah, 1 to 15, you could actually use a lot of 4 stars kind of really well in there. You don't really have to use a lot of 5 stars. A lot of things are actually accomplishable. It just takes you having to really kind of use your head a lot of this, because playing this game, it is a whole bunch of like madness trying to get past some of this. I really got to redo this because this is just shameful. But including inside of SOS, some characters are actually utilized. Yes, some 4-star characters are sometimes utilized. For example, Soy, he's utilized in the top team. We have Puppet, utilized in the top team. We have different characters such as Okion, who is a 4-star, utilized in the top team. So a lot of these characters are usable. They just take a little bit more building into. Now, going into characters, now that we've actually pointed out places that they're actually usable in, going into characters that you guys really want to go ahead and invest in, I would definitely suggest a few of these guys. So we're going to throw out a wild number, and I'm going to split this up into like a couple categories. So let's go with 2 attackers, or at least an attacker, maybe a sustain, and a Navi, of course, something like that. But we're going to try and get like maybe 8 4 stars that you guys should definitely build. So if you guys are going to be new to the game, or even people who are still playing the game currently, I would definitely say without a doubt, Puppet is going to be one of your 4 stars you want to have built. She is a really good defender Navi. We don't have many of these Navis, and if you guys don't know exactly how to build her, I actually made a video about this character yesterday. Check out that video. She is a stellar 4-star. She does a lot to your team. She's able to defend you, able to give you stacks that helps you out with defense, as well as help you out with the attack side of things, and it can make a lot of things really helpful. Another character that a lot of you guys might want to build is going to be Soy, because he has a lot of defense shred. He also has a taunt. He's really good at doing this, and with that defense shred, it actually isn't from majority of his skills. Yes, one of his skills does defense shred, which is this one here, but he's also allowed to make you live a little bit longer. But the main attraction to him is his gun. When you shoot with his gun, every time you shoot, you actually have a good chance of proccing a defense down, in which this defense down can actually be stacked multiple times based on the amount of times you're shooting. So of course, he has an immediate defense shred that's absolutely stellar. Now, another character that recently came out, if you guys can get your hands on her, is definitely going to be Vino. Vino is absolutely insane. She is a nuke character, which we don't have many nuke characters until recently. Definitely a character that a lot of you guys who are looking at 4 stars definitely want to try to get. She will help you compared to people who like are starting now inside of at least TWKR and stuff like that. If you're starting now and you have this character, breezing through story should be easy. Now, of course, if you are not starting now, right, and you're waiting on global, she's not going to be relevant for a little bit because she's not going to be out. So the characters that you really are going to pay attention to, at least, are these 2 at first. Now, moving on to another character that a lot of you guys should probably have built, it's Yuki. Yuki isn't the highest tier of characters, but she does help out quite a lot, helping you stack out a lot of defense. And I will admit, her and Soy helped me cheat a lot of the content, especially in early game. And it was fairly easy getting past things, especially when I was just going ahead with Joker, smacking up some stuff while they were just keeping me pretty much sustained. And gotta admit, those 2 are really good to actually have in your arsenal. Now, when it does come down to another 4-star that I feel like a lot of you guys should try to have built, it's going to be Mont. Mont is really good. She's like a just regular ice DPS that's out here. And although her damage is somewhat mid, at least until you get her 5-star weapon, she actually is pretty darn good though. She's not really that bad. She's pretty good, and she can actually get you some good results. Even without gear and things like that, she can deal pretty decent damage for you to actually continue going through the story. And she did come in handy when I did need an ice DPS as well. So she's definitely a character you want to go ahead and get built. Lastly, the only other character that I would really go ahead and go, well, 2 characters, because I don't want to leave out one of them here, but one of them is going to be, of course, Okion. She's another Navi. your offensive navy. If you're starting the game at the beginning, of course, she is going to be fairly helpful, and I would definitely say you want to go ahead and get her up. Now, normally I would recommend closer because of biasness, but I'm not going to recommend her because she's a little bit of a glass cannon at early game. She doesn't come too much in handy. Same goes with Cattle. I won't go ahead and recommend these two because although Cattle does have a heal, most people are going to be picking Mr. Morgana, and if they're not picking Morgana, they're probably picking On. Now, the reason why I'm saying On is because the other 4-star that you guys want to get is probably key. Having a mono fire team, which you automatically get Cattle, if you're able to pick and you pick On, having a mono fire team having key in your party is absolutely amazing. You can cheap out a lot of things with his DOT stacks and things like that, and you can actually get more for your DPS by just having those stacks of sacrificial more than anything. This can change a lot of your gameplay and really cheap out a lot of the content that you really do need in the long run. So for you guys who actually do need a little bit of a, I guess a priority list a little bit here, do check out the tier list I ended up making. It really does help you out a lot. But if we want to go ahead and organize the 4 stars that you want to try to build ASAP here, let's go ahead and just do it together. So navigators, Puppet, Okyan, right? Puppet and Okyan. Gotta get these guys up. They're going to be your main like lifeline. This is also going to be pretty much in version 1.0, so we're not going to include Vino for this. Next characters I would recommend, Thoi and freaking Yuki. Those are going to help you out quite a lot. They're going to be amazing defenders, and they're really going to save your team. Next characters to go ahead and go for is definitely going to be Mont and then He. These two characters are absolutely amazing. Both of them are good DPSs, and they can really save your butt quite a lot. But of course, at the end of the day, you can build whoever you want. This is just a video stating that all 4 stars are very much so useful. Heck, even the man Sapia does have his uses. In fact, In fact, you can actually cheap out some of those, I keep forgetting the weird steel looking dudes, but they only are affected by like almighty damage technically. Those dudes you can, oh yeah, the Shikis, the Shiki Tonos, I think they're called, or Shikis in general. Those guys, you can actually get rid of those dudes pretty easily with him by just stacking up the DOT effect of just having curse damage, which all that is if you guys play HSR a little bit there, it's pretty much just nihility stacks and those debuffs. That is all that is, and you can quite literally stack those with him and get rid of those guys as well. It does take a lot of like kind of prepping with at least weapon or dupes, but you can very well so do it with him as well. But without further ado, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry this one's a little bit late. I did say it should have been out at 6. Got a little bit distracted with some friends and lost track of the time. But you guys should see this up very soon. I'm currently like speed running the dang thumbnail, but look forward to it soon. Peace out.